This episode of Bringing the Backups is brought to you by Essentials by Gabi. Do you need essentials for a wedding bathroom basket? Are you an Airbnb host looking to go the extra mile? Are you a bridesmaid that needs a gift for the bride? This ad is not a good fit for my audience. Visit etsy.com/shop/essentials by Gabi. Gabi spelled Gabi. Purchase a men's bathroom basket, women's bathroom basket, or both. If you're looking to class up your bathroom for any affair, visit etsy.com/shop/essentials by Gabi. We're also brought to you by Stamps.org. Are you tired of listening to ads for Stamps.com on every podcast? Introducing Stamps.org, a service where I hire my frat brothers to hide in the bushes and steal people's Stamps.com packages. All stolen stamps are used to send hate mail to Mark Maron. Visit Stamps.org and type in the promo code SCHMAGOOBLETITS to pay 50% more for the service than if you hadn't used a promo code at all. That's Stamps.org, promo code SCHMAGOOBLETITS. That's spelled S-C-H Magooblitits. Stamps.org. When you're here, your family. Oh, what is up? Welcome to Bringing the Backups. I'm your host, Erick Hellwig. On the show today, I'm rolling solo talking about Eagles quarterback Bobby Hoying. Oh, the difference 1997 and 1998 brought for Bobby Hoying. We're chatting old BH number 7 on the show today. Want to give a quick shout out. My friend Gary DeNoia drops in on the podcast. You can follow him on Instagram at DeNoia for his very funny content. I have a couple shows coming up I want to tell you about very quickly. You can catch me at Broadway Comedy Club West in Santa Monica. That's a brand new club opening on the weekend of Saturday, July 24th. I will be there at 7:30 on Saturday. You can get tickets to see me on ErickHellwig.com. Also, likewise, the ticket link is up for the Burbank Comedy Festival, Tuesday, August 17th and Wednesday, August 18th. I will be there. So we're still, a month away, but, if you want to be early bird gets the worm, you can go ahead and grab the tickets for that show as well. Quick shout out to my friend Brad Stoll. I did his podcast, Only Farts. Real name, Only Farts. He's sticking with that name. But it was really fun. You can find it on YouTube. It's going to be in the show notes. You can click to it. Or if you're watching this show on YouTube, then great. I'll just scroll down to the description. You'll see the link right there to follow Brad's podcast and listen to the episode I just did with him. Brad's a hilarious comedian. You give him a follow at DamnItBrad on Twitter as well. That's it. That's the business for the podcast. Enjoy this show. Like I said, I'm rolling solo. These episodes are always a journey. It's my ADHD given cocaine and just being like, how far can you take it? So pretty far. I went over an hour on this one. So have a good time. Enjoy the show. As always, thanks for being here. Let's get it started. This is Bringing the Backups with Erick Hellwig. Oh, yeah. Let's start the show. Huh? We're doing it, man. Oh, ladies, men and ladies. Good to be back for another week of Bringing the Backups. Episode 23, huh? Maybe I do like 24 episodes. And then I do I take a little week break or like a 2-week break and then do a season 2. I don't know. Because technically this is like the first season of the podcast. Got so much shit going on in my life. I might need 2 weeks off. And I'm debating it because people say the most important thing about starting a podcast is you're there. Whatever schedule you set up, you got to be there. And I've set up a schedule here of every 2 weeks. So it's I got to be there every 2 weeks. I'm never gone. That's the most important thing about having a podcast is you're always there. Like herpes. You just never leave. You're just always there. And also like herpes, according to my download numbers, sometimes dormant. What the fuck? Why'd you guys stop listening to the podcast? It's actually not. Why would I be yelling at you, the people that are listening? It's crazy. No, the numbers on the old Potterooski been taking a little dip lately. I think it's because I've taken a little break from promoting it. Just because I got to I had some family stuff going on. last couple weeks. I'm started my job back up. We moved. There's just like a lot of shit in life that like I'm not even like looking forward to dealing with, but I've just been dealing with that takes away my time to, sit on Twitter and beg motherfuckers to listen to this thing. So yeah, the podcast has hit a little plateau, but that's, that's fine. To be honest, a couple hundred people listening to this show when I am officially a nobody in the world of comedy, I'm like, I'll fucking take it. I'll take a couple hundred listeners, and then, like I said, we build from there. I would feel if we did do like a 24 episode season, which is in my head is like the number it should be. I think that's like how many like shows Friends used to get every season or something. Or like that's like a TV season back in the day when there were networks worth watching. So like maybe I'll do that, and I'll take a little break, regroup, and then come back ready to promote and do another push for the show. I don't know. Or maybe I just fuck it. Maybe I'll just have a season that goes forever. It just never ends. And the show, I actually I'll be honest. I thought the last episode I did with Jabron Hamden, getting a real NFL quarterback on the show, I thought that was the best episode I've done. So I feel like the quality's getting fucking good. I feel like you're a fucking idiot if you're not listening to this show. No, you guys are doing a great job supporting. I appreciate it. Got a shit ton of reviews on. It's weird. Like the listeners went down, but I had people reviewing the show, which I appreciated. Thank you. Thank you for that. On today's show, I've already promoted it in the little intro bit I do, but I'm going to be talking about Bobby Hoying here in a little bit, which is nice. I think one thing I've done to like kind of curb back on the amount of work on this show is not doing 3 fucking sketches every show. I mean, what is this, SNL? This is like one of those really sweet versions of SNL where it's purely audio podcasts, like we're in the 1940s, and I'm not getting paid. So maybe fewer of the pre-planned bits, at least for now, while life takes its punches. Yeah, look, here's the deal. I went back home for the 4th of July. That's like usually a big family celebration. And then my grandfather got a little sick. And by sick, I mean started dying, which was crazy. And so we were all like prepared for him to go. And then he just kind of got better. So now he's around. And for those of you who don't know my grandfather, you can go on my YouTube page. My only credit for like 5 years was telling a story about him on MTV, which, youtube.com/Erick Hellwig. Feels good to talk about my grandfather getting sick and immediately turn it into a plug for my YouTube page. But whatever. If you guys want to see me tell a story about him, it's a good place to go. You can watch the MTV story. But he is this dude's got a lot of life in him, man. Like it's so like he's in like the hospice part now, but the hospice person's like, yeah, sometimes when you're, he's 92. They're like, sometimes the 92-year-olds, they hit that down spiral and there's just no coming back. And then some people just come back. And I'm like, well, okay, I guess he's just like one of those guys that's just going to like keep almost dying and coming back, which is cool, man. Look, he's such a lively man. It's I gotta say, my favorite story is like I spent one of the nights when I was back home taking care of him a little bit. He was having trouble getting to sleep at night for various health reasons, and then like the first night of sleep, he woke up and he's a little French man, so he speaks in a full thick French accent, even though he's lived in America for like fucking 70 years. He gets more French as he doesn't live in France. And he woke up and I was like, Grandpa, did you get a good night's sleep? He was like, oh, yes, I was dreaming about buying imported ham. And I was like, that could have been your last dream, and you're dreaming about ham? Buying imported ham. This is a man that enjoys the finer things in life. Wine, cheeses, and buying imported ham. And that's what's running through his subconscious. It was rough. I don't know what to say. You're with family, you're getting ready to say goodbye to a family patriarch, and then he just bounces back. It's intense, you know. That's the whatever, the fucking road of the life of the turning road of life takes a journey you're not ready. Whatever the fuck people say to feel better about people dying. But like I said, he's still with us. You know, we'll see. There's no, you know, whatever. I don't know. I don't want to get too much into this on the pod, but that's what's been going on. Like we went home. My wife and I, Liz, you guys know Liz, we went home with the intention of coming right back. And then that ended up extending my trip back east for like an extra week. So that's why creative stuff feels like it's a little behind the eight ball lately. And then I had to go back to my job where I sell discount theater tickets, which is a job I love. I wonder if anybody's listening from my job right now, because if they're not, I'd say something else. Not looking forward to, it's just weird. Like, I think the pandemic just got me into like working from home mode. And now I'm like, I feel like I'm just like so spoiled. I'm like, I got to get in my car and drive to a job. What is this? What am I, like a cross country trucker? You want me to drive 20 minutes into work? Of course, I hope that happens to all of you because it's a better excuse to listen to the show. But, actually, shout out to, is it Drew Shaw? Hang on. Let me pull up the guy that wrote to me on Twitter today, which I really enjoy. It's nice hearing a little feedback. Yeah, Drew Shaw told me he was liking the show, that he uses it for his commute into work. You know what? Thank you, Drew. Thank you, Drew. Guy I've never met with a Buffalo Bills dude in the profile picture. Oh, is that you in the photo? Look, I guess I know what you look like now. It looks like that helmet's too small for his head. Everybody, go to at 30MINS of BS on Twitter. Look at his profile picture. Drew's head looks too big for the helmet. That's just a thing to notice. Everybody, let's dox Drew Shaw on Twitter. I'm fucking around. Drew's wrote me a very nice thing, which I appreciated. So, like I said, I think I try to tell fans this, but it's nice to have fans. It's like literally I was having it's been a rough couple weeks, like heading back into work, you know, like the day job's going to take away from the creative stuff. That's just life. But, you know, that sucks. The family stuff was rough. So I love hearing from you guys. So, and by the way, like, again, if anybody does want to keep letting me know what's going on, what you're thinking about the show, feel free to write in, erichellwigcomedy@gmail.com. I love to hear what people are thinking about the show. It does mean a lot. So, yeah, whatever. Back to work. Back to my job in Hollywood, which, but by the way, has just become like Lord of the Flies with homeless people. Like, my God, I was so liberal in my 20s. I was just so whatever the opposite of my dad was. And now people hear me talking, they're like, oh my God, have you gotten like red pilled? I'm like, no, I've had a blue pill shoved up my ass. I've lived in fucking the People's Republic of California for the last 3 years. What the fuck? We got to wear a mask again? Oh my God, it's, whoo, baby. They're a little bit much here. The libs, little much. I don't know what the solution is, but it's not whatever the fuck they've been doing in California. All right, whatever we've been doing to combat homelessness, it's been wrong. I don't know what the right move is, but I know the way I don't want to go, which is watching. I swear to God, this is true. I went to my job first day, walking back to my car. I found a switchblade next to my passenger seat. All right, that's scary, but like, what are you gonna do? It's a weapon. You know, I've seen shit. I lived in Harlem for 7 years. Lived in Newport News before that. You know, I've seen weapons. Little weird to see it right next to my car, but I can handle that. Next night, I'm coming home. Homeless person throws a glass bottle, shatters 5 feet in front of me. Get in my car, drive through a red light to avoid a confrontation with the person. All right, that scared the fucking shit out of me. All right, and not like horrifying, like, you know, the homeless person that threw it. It was like she's kind of like a tiny chick. It's like, okay, if she came at me, I could have taken her, but it's like, I don't want to punch a homeless woman in the face. Yeah, it's like, and what am I going to do? Like, ask for an escort back to my car? Like, I don't want that either. You get some dude who looks like Michael Clark Duncan to protect me, like carry me back to my car. Like, no, it's like there's nothing to do. It's just like I got to park in a neighborhood where the homeless population just owns the neighborhood now. It's insane. And then a third thing, I don't even remember what the third thing happened. There was like the third day I went back to my car. Oh, I saw a cop. Oh, this is what it was. I saw a cop breaking up a homeless fight. It was like 10 feet in front of my car. And then as I'm driving away, so I'm going down. This isn't going to mean anything to people not in LA, but I'm driving down. What is it? Like Argyle Street? I think it was Argyle. And there's a little median in the road, and then like, two-way traffic. The speed limit's like 45 miles an hour. And there's two dudes, they're shirtless. They put on boxing gloves, tap up, and start full-on sparring in the middle of the road. I'm not kidding. Like full punches moving like a scene from fucking Rocky Balboa in the middle of the street. Homeless boxing. Dude, what is happening? It's insane. That's my commute. That's my commute into work. Meanwhile, my wife wants to go to Nobu for her birthday, so she's like, that's what we do for presents and stuff. We don't do like high ticket items. We do like experiences. I'm like, I want to go to a football game at a stadium I've never been to. We take a weekend trip there. She wants to go to a really nice restaurant where we spend like, fucking $135 on hummus. Whatever. That's what she wants. It's her birthday. She gets it. She wants to go to Nobu. So if you're not familiar, it's where you get like sushi for, $35 for every grain of rice on the fucking roll. So I call him today, and like you can't get getting a reservation at Nobu. It's like it's a joke. It's you have to call at 10 o'clock while murdering 10 other people that are calling at the same time, so you can go to this restaurant a month later. And it's like, how am I driving past homeless boxing matches and trying to get a reservation to overpriced sushi at the same time on the same day? There's only two types of people in Los Angeles. Okay, there's like people trying to get money in the entertainment business who are woke, and then people who have money in the entertainment business murdering people in blood pentagrams. I feel like that's the only two things you can do. There's literally no middle class. You are either broke, trying to fuck someone in a blood pentagram, or fucking someone in a blood pentagram trying to find your next victim. That's it. That's the only thing here. So anyway, that's been the week. I feel like I'm fucking right out of the cannon with this stuff. I will get to Bobby Hoying at some point. A lot of the reviews of this show that people write are like, why doesn't he talk about the fucking quarterback? Because I don't know. I just don't want to right away. I like to savor. Or is that somebody wrote? Hang on, I'm going to pull up the review here. What was the review I had of the podcast recently? Here we go. So this is on Apple Podcasts, which, by the way, please review the show 5 stars. Apple Podcasts, if you get a chance, means a lot. Bring in the backup. Why am I telling you the name of the show? You're already listening. Review it on Apple Podcasts. It's a click away if you're listening right now on your iPhone. Unless you're on Spotify, in which case I guess just subscribe. But here it is. D. Braywick wrote, show is great. Never know what's going to happen or be said. Sometimes you even talk sports. Great fun. Keep it up. All right, see, there we go. So it's like, I don't know, maybe that's part of the charm of the show. We should keep going here. I'm going to read a couple more reviews. Great show. Really interesting stuff. I'm really excited for the next one. Thumbs up. That's from Steve Gamble Music. Oh, I found, whenever people have titles like that in their little, like, your usernames or whatever, I always go look them up to, stalk them and see who my fans are. This guy, Steve Gamble's got some pretty good music. You guys should check it out on Apple, Spotify. I actually messaged him. We talked a little bit. It's good stuff. I like his stuff a lot. And then who's this other one? I got another review. Erick Hellwig gets better with each episode of bringing the backups. That's what I was saying before. Sweet. Subscribe now before Erick gets famous and stops engaging directly with fans. Currently, he'll suffer any fool. I know because I am one. This will easily become one of your favorite podcasts. Thanks for the levity, Eric. Keep it going. This is a great review. I love that. DSSSS45. Thank you. And this, by the way, that does help the show when you guys do reviews. So please, keep that shit up. Rate and review the old podcast. Oh, the other thing I wanted to talk about, and then, like I said, I promise we'll get into Bobby Hoying. For all you sports fans just drooling, waiting for a chance to talk about BH. We got an exterminator to come to our house. And it's like, I don't remember I think it was like $150 or something for because we sell some ants. And we're like, okay, we're new in the condo. Let's get on top of it. And so the exterminator comes and they tell us before, they're like, you need to get out of the house for 4 hours so we can go buy the baseboards and we're going to do a whole sweep of the house. And then the guy gets here and we're like getting ready to take our dog to the park to hang out. And then where can we go for dinner that we can bring the dog so we can make sure that he doesn't die from the exterminator fumes or whatever if we bring him back too soon. And the exterminator just goes, oh, by the way, we also have jelly I could just put on your door cracks and that'll kill all the ants. And I was like, oh, well, that's fine. We still got to leave. And he's like, no, I could just do that now. And it takes 5 minutes and it'll kill all the ants. And I was like, what about our dog? He's like, it's not poisonous to dogs. I was like, well, then put the fucking jelly in the, why is this even a conversation? Why didn't you mention on the phone, I have poison jelly that only kills ants? I'll tell you why they didn't do it. Because if that was what it was, if they were like, hey, we're an exterminator company and all we have is we come in for 5 minutes and rub poison jelly on your door frame, well, then nobody would ever spend $150 for a fucking exterminator. So they sell you on this hard work process of we can take 4 hours and the villain from fucking Men in Black, sugar and water. Edgar, remember Edgar beats his wife and then the alien takes his form? It's I think it's Vincent D'Onofrio. It's they make you think that guy, some exterminator's gonna come over and do shit. He didn't do anything. He just rubbed jelly all over my house. And literally, he did that, and then he left, and 20 minutes later, Liz was like, Eric, come over here, and I just saw 50 ants eating the jelly. Okay, whoever made this jelly is going to put exterminators out of business. And this exterminator company was brilliant to just buy up some jelly, have the dude show up and be like, who would ever be like, no, kick me out of my own house for 6 hours. I'd rather that. Why would I? Who wouldn't just say, yes, jelly, thank you? I feel like I got fucked by paying for that exterminator. But, it's like the fucking gold. It's the gold rush, okay? They found gold. They found the jelly. They bought it up. They got high recommendations on Yelp. It's a weird thing to complain about, to be like, I actually didn't have to leave my house, and it was really effective. Haven't seen an ant for a week. Whatever, good for them. All right, enough. Let's get to Bobby Hoying. Before we do that, we have a pre-planned bit. So check this out. We actually have, it's funny. Last podcast, we had I would say, a football celebrity, Jabron Hamden. I mean, it was cool, man. First Palestinian quarterback in the NFL. First Pakistani quarterback in the NFL as well. He's breaking down bears. He was a cool guy. He's a great artist. I'm still promoting him because I fucking love the interview so much. You can check out his shit, Jabron.com. He's an amazing graphic design artist now. But, what was my train of thought? Oh, I was saying, I got a quarterback, and then on this episode, are you guys familiar with the Fast and the Furious series? Huh? A little guy named Vin Diesel? Check this out. A little action from Vin right now. If you want something done right, you need to do it yourself. Unless it's telling your audience how to support your podcast, because that shit gets old real quick. I think you should outsource it. And that's what I've done. Welcome to My Friends and Family Plug My Show. These are real people with real reasons why you should support me. I hope you listen, I hope you hear, and I do hope you support.
Hi, I'm Vin Diesel, and you're listening to Bring In the Backups. Did you know besides being an excellent podcast host, Erick taught me how to do improvs? Yes, and it's true. But Erick lives his life a quarter star at a time. So it's essential that you leave a 5-star review, share it with your friends, subscribe on whatever platform you're on. He's even on YouTube's. Now I know I sound like I'm always tired, but I love coffee, except I don't have a favorite coffee cup. Yes, and I do now, because I went over to Erick's website at erickhellwig.com, where you can buy merchandise, sign up for his newsletter, and all other sorts of cool stuff. Remember, I don't have friends. I got family. Erick is neither, but he's a hell of a podcast host.
All right. Thank you very much, Vin. You can check out Vin's work in the new Fast and the Furious movie, doing very well in China. Thank you, John Cena. And Vin actually said to promote, he would like you to, one of Vin's favorite Instagram personalities is Gary DeNoia, who you can follow at Para DeNoia. He does a lot of celebrity impressions. Vin's a big fan. So in honor of Vin coming on the show, make sure to give Gary DeNoia a follow on Instagram at Para DeNoia. All right, there we go. Bobby Hoying. Oh, this name for children in Philadelphia, Bobby Hoying really does haunt the nightmares of children my age that lived in Philadelphia, you know? More than anybody. Well, maybe not like pedophile priests, but like after that, it would be, they're definitely lurking around in there. But then it's Bobby Hoying. I mean, this dude, because this was a time when the Eagles were like, we're coming off of Cunningham. I want to say Cunningham's last season in Philly was like 94, maybe 95. He'd been injured. Went that 96 season. I remember like Ty Detmer was the starter. You guys know me. I'm a big Coy fan myself. But they just like had all these journeyman guys. And then Bobby Hoying came out of nowhere and played pretty good in the tail end of the 97 season, where the Eagles are like a little below 500, but we're competing for the playoffs. He won a game in Philly against the Steelers, 23-20, where he looked good. 2 TDs, 1 interception. At that point, he was a second-year quarterback, third-round draft pick out of Ohio State. Where, let's talk about. We have to get to the end. We have to start at the beginning. All right, Bobby Hoying. Let's see what we got here. He was the grandson of Wally Post, who played 15. Oh, I didn't know that. Played 15 years in the major leagues. Hoying grew up in Ohio, in Mercer County. And then he went to Ohio State. Obviously, that's like a huge college. And he crushed at Ohio State. All right, in 93, he's a sophomore. He kind of like shares snaps with this dude, Brett Powers, who had transferred from Arizona State. But by 94, Hoying is the starter. He throws 57 touchdown passes, completes 498 passes, which were school records at the time, all right? And now he's third behind J.T. Barrett and Art Schlichter on the Ohio State career passing yardage list. And he was also like a very smart guy, it looks like. He got an all Big Ten scholar athlete. So, like, this dude looks pretty good in college. What's this? He also was a 4th level dungeon master. What? In the okay, hang on. All right, stop. Hang on. I'm reading the Wikipedia page. This is the part of the show where I just read somebody's Wikipedia page and act like I'm discovering shit. But look at this. This was not here the other day. Okay, I'm going to read straight off of Wikipedia what it says about his college career. It says he was also a 4th level dungeon master in the local Dungeons & Dragons chapter at OSU. Many others attempted this level, but his skills as a base wizard were too much to handle for underclassmen. Okay, look, and this isn't even punctuated correctly. Obviously, someone just came on his page and typed in some bullshit, which I respect. If you're listening to this podcast, go to Bobby Hoying's Wikipedia page right now. You will see it under college career until they edit it, all right? This won't age well, but for the people listening now, someone's saying that he was in Dungeons and Dragons, which now, geez, like you get bullied more for playing football than you do for being in Dungeons and Dragons. Like, I mean, the bullies are the fucking nerds at this point. That's my understanding of society as we've reshaped it here. My understanding is that theater kids become president now. That's now what we do. This is fucking hilarious. And this is what I used to do with my friends, I want to say. We used to go on people's Wikipedia page and make shit up all the time. And this was like, when I was in college, Wikipedia was still new, so you could get away with some shit. I don't know why, but we used to say that Trent Cole, who was a defensive end for the Eagles, was a cannibal. And so we would just go and edit his page all the time to just have all this cannibal stuff in it. And it would stay up for weeks. I also remember, like, I put myself on Wikipedia for, like, my shitty college radio station. I was like, Erick from Sex Panther Radio. Had a radio station named after a Ron Burgundy quote. That's where my level of comedy was at. It was fun, man. And you could really, you could lend yourself some credibility. But now they have, guards. Like those fucking dudes in Britain that, they don't laugh. And they're just like, you will not post on Wikipedia. And you're like, fucking, all right, fine. Because for a while, you guys know this for people that the diehards of my podcast, I was putting my podcast on Cleo Lemon's Wikipedia page. Who am I hurting? What, does Cleo not want the press? So anyway, props to whoever's writing this bullshit on Bobby Hoying's page. It's hilarious. I love it. Keep up the good work. Yeah, his college stats are good, man. I'm looking at him. Again, we've talked about this a billion times, but he's got actual good college stats. Looks like he was worth getting drafted. And which he does get drafted by the Eagles, 96 draft. Plays well his second year in the league, 97. He kind of took over midseason, threw 11 touchdown passes, and that included an amazing game against the Cincinnati Bengals where he threw 4 TDs, 1 pick, and came back in the end, had a drive with under a minute left to get them in field goal range. Eagles win 44-42 against a 4-8 Bengals team. Eagles went to 6-6. It was pretty sweet, man. It's Boomer Esiason. Okay, his name is Boomer. That's one of those quarterback names you're just like, you can't go wrong. If your name was Touchdown 7, you just got one of those names where you're like, fucking get this kid on the field, Same deal if you have if you're the family name is Quadratic Solution, then all right, this guy's gonna, have glasses and get the shit kicked out of him. Yeah, man, I love that game. I remember that Bobby Hoying game. All Philadelphia kids, adults at that time, remember because we were like, this is now the guy. Second-year quarterback, third-round draft pick, leading a comeback we're in contention for a playoff spot. Fuck yes. Here we go, baby. We got new uniforms. They'd gotten rid of the Kelly Green at that time. I wasn't for that, but we're gonna bring in some glory with the midnight green. He fucking rocked the shit that season, all right? He was good. Bobby Hoying was good. But then, so then what happens is the Eagles are like, okay, fully commit to Bobby Hoying. They put out a press release. They're like, everybody who's a fan of the Eagles, buy a Bobby Hoying jersey. You will not regret it. The hype train just explodes for this dude. He's a good-looking dude. He's a smart dude. He fucking beat the Bengals. Second thought, it's who cares that he beat the Bengals? But, we really cared, okay? Philly fans know how much we invested in this, mostly meaningless game that Bobby Hoying played in 1997. But it's hilarious because in 98, he comes out and he was so bad. Look, I got his stats here. He had 8 starts. He went 1-7 with 0 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. I will repeat that. He had 8 starts with 1 win, 7 losses, 0 touchdown passes, and 9 picks. That's in 8 starts. Bobby Hoying he went to the Raiders for 99 and 2000, only played in a playoff game for the Raiders and got crushed. It was in the Ravens Super Bowl season. He never threw another touchdown again in the NFL. He got injured, and I think he was out of the league by 2001. But that 98 season in Philly was really, I mean, look, here's what I will say. God bless the broken road that led to a couple meaningless Coy Detmer starts. I mean, that is what he did. And that was cool. The Coy Detmer Packers game on Monday Night Football that I've talked about on this podcast when I did the Coy Detmer episode, that's because Bobby Hoying was so bad. That's the only reason you would get to see a Coy Detmer. Remember, the Eagles scored 16 points in that game, and then they won against the Rams the next week with 17 points. And I remember people in Philly being like, it's an offensive explosion. Because it was. It was. We just needed somebody that could hit a Deuce Staley for a 3-yard screen pass. That was it. No, Bobby really struggled in that 98 season. I think it's because the thing is you watch his highlights, which again is mostly the Bengals game. A little bit of the Steelers game, he looked good. He looks confident. He's moving around the pocket. Like, he's still a young quarterback. He's throwing picks, but you're like, this guy's got the arm. He's got the mobility. He's got the pocket presence. But I just think, like anything, it's like you lose your confidence for a little bit, and you're like, I can't. As soon as you go, I can't, other people go, you're right, you can't. Time to kick your ass. I just think it's like you can't let that doubt in. Type A. So I got nothing against Bobby Hoying. Like I'm not one of those psycho fans that's like, and now I hate him. Like, I don't hate him. I'm just like, damn, man, you sucked. Like, that's what if I saw him, if I could get Bobby on the podcast, which obviously I won't, but if I could, I'd be like, bro, that was bad, man. You look like you were getting fucked up. I mean, it's not like he was throwing to like great receivers. Like if I'm going to cut him a little bit of a break, I was watching his highlights. Okay, here's his receivers. He had Jeff Graham. You guys remember Jeff Graham? Some Graham fans here. He had Kevin Turner, the fullback. Deuce Staley, who had a solid career. Like, I love Deuce. Jason Dunn, the tight end. That's it. Those are all the best receivers on the team. Irving Fryer. No, he had Irving Fryer. I think in the 97 season, Fryer was there, but at that point, he was like probably close to 40. Irving Fryer was like drafted by Vince Lombardi, but he was still playing with Bobby Hoying in 97. He was I remember him being like an old receiver for the Eagles that season. That was the 98 season. So I think he did. I think Fryer was there for the 98 season too. But yeah, like, who are the Eagles players? I mean, look, the Eagles, I mean, maybe they had like an invincible tryout again. Whoever won that year was like the slot receiver for the Eagles. How hilarious that the Eagles had an open tryout in their team history and somebody made the team. What? Could you imagine that happening now? Like, if you just were like, I think I could play on the Rams, and then you do? What the fuck? I know the Eagles got good after Dick Vermeil did that, but that's just that's a city, that's a Philly thing. Of why don't they have the tryout every year? They should totally, and it should always be a bartender that wins it. All right, that's what they should do, and you just let him play special teams until he gets hurt. All right. What are the special teams guys really doing? They're running in a straight line. I tell you what, you just get a guy in a bar, suit him up for the Eagles. Just a guy like me, doesn't have to be an athlete. Just be like, run in a straight line, take up a block, blow somebody up at the 40-yard line. We'll take you off in a stretcher. You'll talk about it for the rest of your life from a wheelchair. Get him in the game. Invincible. All right, Vince Papale. Bobby Hoying. Yeah, so the 98 season goes bad. And then I got to say, Bobby Hoying makes a pretty sweet career move. Which, you know this show, huh? When we talk quarterbacks, we don't just talk their football careers. We talk their post-football careers. Bobby Hoying is the principal partner of Crawford Hoying, which is a real estate company somewhere in Ohio. And their little slogan is, we're focused on doing more than just building buildings, which is obviously a shitty slogan. I got to get in contact with someone from Crawford Hoying. You could just be like, it could be like Crawford Hoying, more than just buildings. That would be better. Or like the building of the building. I don't know. You can't say building twice right next to each other. And it's also, why is it a full sentence? We're focused on doing more than just, we got to get who's good with brands out there? Any branding, any Mad Men characters listening to my show that want to, doesn't it always seem like when you watch Mad Men, does it seem like they're doing anything? It's like they'll have like a whole episode where like, John Hamm is like, doing heroin and like banging whores in the Lower East Side and doing all this crazy shit. And at the very end, he's like, Coke, it's tasty. And they're like, oh, he's so brilliant. I'm like, is he? I feel like I could do that. I feel like I could come up with a slogan for something. I feel like brand ambassadors, not brand ambassadors, but like brand builders, like ad men. It's like that's not real to me. The only real job is like building a bridge. Like if it's not physical labor, I feel like you're cheating. I feel like we're all cheating. Okay, we're all removed from, the food chain. We're not getting hunted by lions anymore. So in a way, everybody cheats. But if you're digging ditches or you're like a line worker, during a hurricane, like at least you're facing danger in some way. Like any job where there's no physical threat to your safety, it feels like you shouldn't be getting money. Am I wrong about that? I mean, look, I've never done anything. Have I ever had like a physical labor job? I mean, look, being a waiter, I guess that doesn't really count. I wasn't like being a chef. That feels like a physical labor job. I mean, I take this back. Look, you're on your feet. If you have plantar fasciitis, that can be rough, especially if you're not doing your stretches. So I'm not saying it's easy to be a waiter. But I would count waiter. I'll say anything that doesn't have like a physical demand or toll to it feels like you're a pussy. Like I remember that's like the end of Office Space. Remember like the main character like goes and becomes a construction worker and he's like, I like it. I'm being outside and stuff. I'm like, yeah, that guy. That guy's doing it right. Of course, I could do that myself. I don't think he's doing it right. He's not. I could do it myself, and I don't. So obviously, I don't feel that way for real. But in the moment, there's something guttural to that. Why the fuck am I? Oh, I guess because Bobby Hoying doesn't work with his hands anymore. Well, look, I would totally count football for that. I mean, I know it's a game, but like you get fucked up. Anyway, it looks like they have a nice corporate. They have a nice corporate vibe there. I watched like their intro video at Crawford Hoying. Like it's nice. Bobby sounds like he's all there. He's a good looking guy. By the way, he goes by Bob Hoying now. Nice try, Bobby. I found you. Don't try to fucking change your first name. You're Bobby. You're Bobby Hoying. Bob Hoying. Give me a fucking break. It's like that dude that missed the kick for the Bills, Steve Christie. You find him like he's running a company and like he's like he goes by his middle name now. Tom Christie. It's like, motherfucker, you're Steve. Wide right, you son of a bitch. So wide right, wide left, I can't remember. All I remember from that kick is it was like a 46-yard kick for the Bills, right? It's not a fucking easy kick. Jesus Christ. Give Steve Christie a break. Give Bob Hoying a break. How would I feel if a 280-pound man was coming to kick my ass? Meanwhile, I'm trying to like hit fucking Kevin Turner on an out route. There's 3 inches of separation from him and the defender because he's slow as shit. I did watch. I watched the first half of a Bobby Hoying game in '98. It was like week 9 against the Lions, and the Eagles won 10-9. He drove them for a field goal in the fourth quarter to get to 10-9, and they won. So he gets credit. It's a comeback. It's a comeback win for Bobby Hoying. It's his only win as a starter that year, and they scored 10 points. But I was watching, I was like, they were dropping a shit ton of passes. Okay, I'm not saying Bobby Hoying's like, he never got a chance, but you know how it goes on this podcast. If I talk for long enough about a player, eventually I say it. He never got his chance. Bobby Hoying never got his chance. I don't know. I think he was obviously not as good as he was in that 97 season with the Bengals, or I should say when he beat the Bengals and won the Eagles a couple games late, kind of meaningless games. But I also don't think he was as bad as the 98 season. I think it's like it's a special kind of pressure in Philly. It's a different pot. Different pot to boil in. Boils a little faster. Pressure's hot. Hot. It's a hot pot. All my stories of being a Philly fan. I'm not even from Philly. My dad's from Philly. Just kind of, we'd go there to see my grandparents. And because we're moving around so much, that feels like home. Just because that and D.C., because that's where my grandparents lived. That's where we would go home for summers and visit. And yeah, all my experiences there were just the fans being complete sociopaths. Just real lunatics. Not fun. I mean, it was fun to watch, but I can't imagine it'd be fun to be yelled at like that. It's got to be rough as an athlete. But again, if you're the type of athlete who thrives on that stuff, then you would probably fucking love it. And there are guys like that who do love it. They love playing in Philly because they're like, boomy, you fat, drunk idiots. It's their fuel, You're like, did you guys watch The Last Dance with Michael Jordan where he's making up stories in his fucking head to be like, now I have to fucking murder Jeff Hornacek's family. I'm like, why? You're like, because he wrote a blog about me. You're like, what is a blog? It's the 90s. What are you saying? Michael Jordan is insane. He belongs in jail for the way he acted. He's not well mentally. But, Michael Jordan would have crushed it in Philly. You got to make shit up about those fans. They're fucking on you in a minute. Yeah, it's like a joke to boo people in the first quarter. That's like people would boo and then laugh as the offense was coming off the field. I remember that. And yeah, the team sucked, but it's like, they suck, but they would still kick the crap out of you, okay? If it came down to it, let's not malice in the palace. Let's not go for that in Philly, because sometimes I was like, as fans, we deserve it. I don't know, whatever. Enough of Bobby Hoying. Bob Hoying. He goes by Bob now. I'm clicking on his photo now. This little blog comes up. Yep, it goes, he went on to play in the National Football League for 6 years. Does not mention his... does not mention how bad he was. Why would it? Why would he be in his bio? He departs from his real estate job to talk about fucking not throwing a touchdown in 8 starts. And look, he meets the guy he starts his company with, Brent Crawford of Crawford Hoying. He meets him during a chance pairing on a golf course in 1998. Oh, in 98? What the fuck? Well, that's why, all right? This fucking Brent Crawford asshole put real estate in Bobby Hoying's head when he should have been focused on football. Well, that's what happened. Look at this shit. Look, it says it right here. He met him in 98. Dude, Bobby Hoying should have been trying. You were the future of the Eagles, you son of a bitch. Oh, my God. He's playing on a golf course? They say soon after the two men partnered together to form Crawford Hoying. Oh, my God. This is infuriating. Bobby. Like at that point, 98, Bobby Hoying's like what? He's like 24 years old. Dude, this guy could have been the Tom Brady. He could be like finishing up his 8th Super Bowl march right now for the Eagles. But instead, he played golf with Brent Crawford. I'm going to message these guys on Instagram, see if I can get Brent or Bob on the call. Wouldn't that be hilarious? I'm never getting another quarterback on the show. I'll just have Jabron Hamden on like every 10th episode. He seemed down. He seemed down to get on the podcast more than the one time. So we'll see. Anyway, Bobby Hoying, look, wish you the best, Bob. I hope Crawford Hoying works out. Dude, they do build cool shit. I watched their whole video, and they kind of like walk through some of the designs they have. It's a hilarious video because they do that corporate thing where it's like a fake meeting, where it's like all the B-roll of like people who aren't actors like nodding and pretending to draw on whiteboards. Where it's like, we get it. You have meetings. You don't need to show us that meetings occur. You can just do the straight to camera testimonials. It's always like one of my favorite things is when you see like commercials with people who aren't actors. And like all of a sudden they like don't know how to walk across a room or like where their hands normally fall. For some reason, like their arm is just like up by their like pec. And you're like, do you always walk like John McCain? Like let your hand fall naturally to its side. Am I in trouble for the John McCain? I don't know. You can't get in trouble for making fun of Republicans, all right? That's obviously, I'm safe. Okay, let's move on from Bobby Hoying, all right? Usually at this point I would have another pre-planned bit, but I don't. I don't have something to transition us out. So I'm just going to do it with my voice. And I'll do a thing with my voice that lets you know we are transitioning out of talking about Bobby Hoying. And we're transitioning in to me complaining about other shit. Well, not complaining, just, talking. You guys like hearing me get mad. Get a little worked up. I'll tell you what, if we're going to continue to talk about things that have been upsetting me for the last 2 weeks, Gordon had to go in for surgery. The dog, the star of the show. My dog, Gordon Pitbull, 7 years old, adorable as fuck. Yeah, he has these like, what do you call them? Like skin tags. So we were like, okay, we got to make sure that they're not cancerous is number one, which we're still finding out. The doctor thinks they're fine, but we had to get them removed because apparently like if you just let them stay, they can become bad later in life. And then to take them off, you got to put the dog under like anesthesia, which is bad for old dogs. It can kill old dogs, but Gordon's still young enough to where like he can handle it. So we're like, all right, let's just get it out of the way now. So we took him in for this surgery, and they bring him out, and he's got like a cone. He's got the plastic cone around his head. He's all fucked up on drugs, so he's like walking around like me in college. He's like, ooh, he's like fucking running into car. Like he can't walk straight. He wasn't able to like jump into the car. Like, we had to like lift him up like an old. Like he also had like they put a t-shirt on him, but the t-shirt was like kind of like worn and ragged. Like it looked like a big band. He was just like bandaged. He looked. I don't know if they were like messenger dogs in World War II, but he looked like one of those that got hit by a cannon. Like he looked fucked up. Like it was not fun to watch my dog be hurt and like be drugged up. But just on a purely like aesthetic level, it looked hilarious. Like if he had just had like a eye patch, that would have been the only thing to like complete the look. He looked jacked up. This was all yesterday and a little bit today, but it's like they said, like, you give it 24 to 48 hours, the anesthesia kind of wears off and the dog kind of becomes themselves. And he started doing that today. So he's already back to being his rambunctious, positive, stubborn self. But no, he was jacked. He looked messed up coming out of that surgery. And they don't like him we got to find a new vet for him, because, like, this vet sucks. Like, they're super expensive. They always take fucking forever. They keep us, like, waiting outside in the car. I guess, like, a lot of vets in California do that now because it's a fucking state full of pussies. But, like, they're, like, over the top with it, where it's like, we can't just, like, come in and pay with a credit card. Like, we just have to sit in a parking lot for, like, 2 hours. And also, it's like the stuff that they have to do to get to like check the dog back to us. They're like, okay, this is all good. We're gonna run the credit card and then we'll bring him right out to you. And then, like, 40 minutes later, they call, like, here he comes. I'm like, well, where was he? Are you guys having a fucking dinner party in there? Does having us in the weight room, would that speed it up a little bit? These guys suck, and they're not. What's crazy is they're not charmed by my dog. That's what I don't like. They walk out, and my dog is fucking awesome. No offense to all your dogs, but I think mine is the greatest dog. You know, I'm sure you think the same way. But they don't like him. They're like, oh, he was a little rough. I'm like, yeah, he's a pit bull. He's rough. He's rough. He's also adorable. One time we took him to a vet in Long Island when we had him back on the East Coast. And the vet was like, he had to do something. He had to, like, you know, whatever, stick his fingers in his butt, do something that Gordon didn't like. And the vet, we were like, how did he do? And the vet smiled and he went like, well, he kissed me and then he growled. And I was like, okay, and he was happy. He was like, he thought the vet found humor in the fact that my dog gave him a kiss and then immediately growled at him. Because I don't think dogs usually go that quickly between both. Usually a growl is followed, a kiss is followed by more sweetness, not an immediate growl. But that's my dog. It's like he's sweet and he can fuck you up. It's both things. To be honest, I see a lot of myself in the dog. But, like, I don't know, when people don't appreciate that my dog has a duality inside of him, my dog is a good dog that can also fucking equalize you if you treat him the wrong way. If you can't appreciate that, then you're fucking in the wrong business. You shouldn't be in the dog business. I like a dog that looks like if shit goes down, he can help me get food. Or maybe make me his food. I would totally respect that. If it comes down to it, and it's like I'm, like, facing down my dog in my own house, you know, there's been a solar flare, and it's like me or him, and he takes me down. I'm like, fucking good for you, buddy. Yeah, I'll take a piece of my thigh. I would respect that. That's what I want. That's why we got him. That's not why we got him. We got him. We went to a shelter, and, you know, he was well behaved. That's why we got him. my wife was like, we're really getting a fucking pit bull? I was like, he's not a pit bull. I didn't even know he was a pit bull when we got him. And then, like, I told my friend, I was like, hey, we got a dog from the pound. And he was like, what kind of dog? I was like, hey, he's like a mix. And then I showed a photo. And my friend started laughing and was like, dude, you got a fucking pit bull. He's full pit bull. I was like, no, he looks like a mix. And I looked on his sheet and it's full pit bull. I'm like, okay, I guess he's a pit bull. But, like, I don't know. I guess I just didn't know dogs that well to know. All I knew was Dalmatians because, you know, I watched a movie when I was a kid where there were Dalmatian dogs. So I knew that dog. Well, but also, why the fuck did they make Cruella? Why would I want a backstory on a lady that fucking skins dogs? What are they thinking? Does nobody have an idea? There are no ideas left? I've got ideas for movies. Any idea would be better than the Cruella biopic. It's like, I'm mad that it even exists. Who greenlit that? What the fuck ever, man. People in this business. By the way, this is the last thing I'll say, and then we'll fucking get out of here. You guys are like, why have I listened to an hour when there's no celebrity guest? Actually, there's no celebrity guest on any of these shows. I haven't had any, but I've had like 3 people who tour. Everybody else is just my fucking friend. But yeah, whatever. I mean, I don't know if you're this deep into the podcast. I was doing a podcast with my buddy Brad Stoll. You give him a follow on Instagram, damn it Brad, or Twitter, damn it Brad. Very funny guy. But we were laughing about, like, once you get 50 minutes into a podcast, you can say nobody's listening. Even the people that are like, I gotta cancel a person. Once they get 30 minutes in, they can't fucking take it anymore. You can say anything at this point. No, but truly, nobody's listening. Except my mom, who sponsored the podcast. Essentials by Gabi. Do support Essentials by Gabi. The thing I wanted to talk about before we get out was I signed up for this thing called Lunch Club. And for those of you that aren't in the entertainment business, you spend your time, you put in your 9 to 5, you go home, hang out with friends, bang your wife, live a life. For those of you that are doing that, which fucking kudos to you. Lunch Club is this thing that people in the entertainment business do to try to like make connections. It's kind of like there's this other thing called Clubhouse, which is similar, but Lunch Club just like Clubhouse, you're like meeting people like in these like rooms and you're talking and then you connect with people and set up like a lunch or whatever. Lunch Club just goes like, you like this, here's an AOL thing, talk to this guy for 45 minutes on Zoom. That's what it's just connecting people. And I've done a couple of them, and it's fun. I met this one dude who's like in a pop punk band in San Diego, and I was in a band in high school, so we fucking talked about that. I met another guy who's like really into sports and like old football, so obviously that's what this show's about. We talked about that. I met this lady who was a producer, but also had like escaped Serbia or something when she was a kid. I can't remember exactly where she was from, but like she just had this story about like coming to America when like she had nothing but the clothes on her back. And that was interesting. I learned something about that, even though I can't fucking remember what country she's from now. But like, I've had nothing but good experiences on it. And then I got paired with this fucking dude, this asshole dude who comes on the podcast or comes on the meeting. First thing he does is start talking politics. Put a gun in my mouth, please. Why would we do that? Why would you want to talk about that? You don't even know me, dude. You don't even know me. And he's talking about that. That's right off the bat. I'm like, this guy sucks. He's like an old tech guy. And his like bio was kind of vague, which is not good. When it's vague, I'm like, this could be like fucking multi-level marketing if I'm not careful. And sure enough, he's fucking dropping names, which I've learned at the age of 35. If you drop 2 names within the first 2 minutes of meeting somebody, you're a piece of shit. Even if it organically comes up to where you should drop the name, you keep the name to yourself. Once you start dropping names, Mark Cuban, Jamarcus Russell, like whatever names you have, it's like, no, stop. Why? You don't do that when you meet somebody. So sure as shit, he starts to try to sell me his fucking tech company. And I hung up the call. That's what I did. And I was kind of bummed because I was like, I wish I'd had it in me. Because like again, like this is the same week that like stuff's going on with my family. I was about to go into work. I literally like driven to work and was like talking with the dude in my car. So I was like, this call will end. I can walk right in. Whatever, no big deal. 30-minute chat with somebody. Maybe it'll be interesting like the other chats I'd had. But I just like, I didn't have it in me to be like confrontational in the moment. And like, I should be going like, hey, that's better. That's growth. That's like, I don't want to be the kind of guy that like has to say something. I can just get off the call and move on with my day. But it actually bothered me that I didn't. I was like bothered by my growth. I wanted to fucking unload on him. And be like, you're going to try to sell me shit? You're going to try to sell me shit? Well, I look like the kind of guy that would let you do that. Like you can just get one over on me. It is infuriating. I was mad at myself. He is what he is. People like that, they're just going to take from this world. They're going to find suckers and they're going to pull them in. And those people are going to probably not learn the lesson because it's in them. When you get taken like that by people over and over again, it's just who you are. We are animals at the end of the day, and there are predators that will find a way to take your shit. They will take your money if you don't fucking wise up. So how mad can I be at him for being like a complete tool? It's like, it's the thing that I wanted to do. I'm wrong though. The thing I should do is meditate and breathe and all that stuff. Although, last thing before we get out of here, I might have ADHD, which would totally explain the outline for this podcast and how it usually goes. And apparently meditation is like torture for people with ADHD, which would make sense for why I'm usually not very good at it. So I don't know. Maybe what I've the other thing my therapist told me is just work out a bunch. That's the best thing for ADHD is wake up at 7:00 in the morning and just run a marathon. Come back at 9 and you get your adrenaline. It's not your adrenaline, it's your dopamine. You get your dopamine hit from that, and that gets you into a productive day. So I don't know. I guess what I'm saying, you guys give it a couple of months. I'm gonna be in fucking good shape. All right, I'm just gonna fucking start wailing on the tries, the buys, the thighs, all of it. I'm gonna look like Bobby Hoying in 1997, a jacked football player ready to make a big commitment to real estate as he's becoming as he's becoming the quarterback for the Eagles. You like that? That's how you tie it back in at the end. Huh? Weekly and feels forced. All right, that's enough. Thanks for listening to the podcast, guys. We'll be back in 2 weeks, maybe with a season finale, or maybe just with another episode. Who knows? We'll find that out later. But appreciate you being around. Let's do it again soon. Thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like to support us, visit erickhellwig.com, where you can follow on social media, join the newsletter, visit the merch store, or email me directly. If you're on Apple Podcasts or iTunes, rate us 5 stars and write a review. If not, just subscribe from your preferred podcast platform. Lastly, if you know someone who would enjoy our content, please tell them about the show. That's erickhellwig.com for all things backups, and we'll see you on the next episode.